Hey, all, Baruch Levy B here from Defiant Spirit. I want to share with you some thoughts. I know that I'm not alone. 50 million of you, I think 30 million, something like that, joined me last night watching the NCAA Championship game against the Michigan Wolverines and the Washington Huskies. Now, to be fair, I'm not a big Michigan Wolverine fan. I'm sorry. I don't say go blue. I was rooting for the Washington Huskies, but there was no contest last night. Yeah, the score was pretty close, but anybody who's followed the season and followed both teams knows the score did not reflect what happened on that field. So why am I talking about this? I mean, I coach, counsel, and guide people spiritually, emotionally, mentally, but I am not a sports psychologist, and I don't know that much other than college football. I know quite a bit, but that's the only sport I follow. So why am I talking about this? I'm not even interested in what happened on the field. If you're not interested in football, you don't have to be interested in football to have seen something truly remarkable last night. You have J.J. McCarthy with the Michigan Wolverines, their quarterback, and Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback for the Huskies. Arguably, Penix Jr., I think, is a better quarterback, but not last night. And they, at the end of the day, they're probably equivalent. I don't know enough to say which one is better. They're both top notch. However, we didn't see top-notch performances last night. Now, I'm not saying this is the only reason why Michigan won and why J.J. McCarthy was so good, but something happened before the game that I had never seen before. Again, I haven't followed the Wolverines, so I haven't had the opportunity to see his pregame ritual. And if you haven't seen J.J. McCarthy's pregame ritual, I was shocked. I did a double take. I thought it was actually like some spoof at first or some stupid commercial. And it was actually a young man, what is he, 20-something, early 20s, going out in front of at least millions of people, potentially 30 million people at that point, sitting in a cross-legged style. Maybe it was half lotus or full lotus. I was just too awestruck to pay attention. And meditating. The guy meditates in front of millions of people. Now, I have meditated almost every day for the past quarter century. I've never meditated in front of 25 million people. I have never meditated in front of 1,000 people. I've tried. When I was a rabbi and I had a congregation and it was high holidays and I'd be standing up there or I'd be sitting up there, I would try to meditate, but I couldn't get past myself, my ego, the feeling of being looked at. And that's 1,000 people. This kid is in front of millions. That is one of the greatest acts of courage I have seen in a long time. And don't think it's not nothing. It's something. Now, I spend so much time, especially with men, trying to convince them that meditation isn't soft or that you don't have to buy incense. You don't have to buy yoga pants and buy a Zabu, Zafatan, yoga mat, whatever it is. That is all frosting on the cake. That is not the cake. What do you need to meditate? You need to do what that warrior did. Meditation's a warrior tradition. What you see at yoga studios is not yoga. The yogis created yoga as a way to prepare for war, to limber their body, but to control their mind. What I saw under that goalpost was a young man who was readying for his war, and some of the shots that kid took out there, it was war, and yet he kept his composure. And so what he did underneath the goalpost, I believe, was true meditation, because whatever it was, it got him centered and it kept him calm, and he stayed in the pocket and he took hits, and that was the defining difference between those two quarterbacks. Michael Penix Jr. needs to meditate because last night he needed not the skills, certainly not the physical skills. He needed the mental skills, the spiritual skills that J.J. McCarthy exemplified last night. So all of you guys thinking that meditation is woo-woo and you have to, again, have this kind of, frills and pomp and circumstance to do the meditation thing, you don't. What do you need? You need a goalpost. You need a place to park your back, to park your ass, to sit down and to get centered before you go on to that field, because every guy I know is in the pocket in some way, shape, or form. Meditation is so easy when I'm on retreat, when I'm on a mountaintop, for the 2 weeks that we're up in the Rockies, and I'm sitting there singing Kumbaya. But when I come back down and I got kids and I have a wife and I have a job and I have family and I have civic duties and I have all these things pulling at me, grabbing at me, pulling me off my center, linebackers, right, blitzing and safeties coming in, I get pulled off my center, and I need to be more like JJ McCarthy. And frankly, the guys and the women that I counsel and coach, but especially the guys, they need this great warrior tradition too. So if you want to know more about meditation, I'm going to do a long form version, and I'll post this over at defiantspirit.org under the podcast page. You can always get on my podcast there on iTunes or over at Podbean. This is what I do. If you're interested, if you're a man who wants to rise up in his life, particularly the second half of life, and take on these skills and stand in your own pocket and command the game as did young JJ McCarthy last night, I would love to work with you. And Michael, if you're out there listening to me, hey man, you're a great quarterback, and I look forward to working with you too. Take care, live your number, defy your number, live your spirit, and I have to say it, I guess, for the first time in my life, go blue.